And welcome back to the Dark Souls Prepare to Die edition walkthrough, where we just made our way down to the Chasm of Abyss, or rather, we're just about to make our way to the Chasm of Abyss. We're about 3/4 of the way through the Oolacile Township. We just found an elevator and came back because I know that the next part is pretty challenging. You might also notice that I'm now wearing a different set of armor. It looks like it's the chest piece from Chester, and I've got the Thief's or Rogue's hood on. And I'm using both the Silver Tracer and Gold Tracer. Those are from the Lord's Blade set. It looks like I'm just getting rocked. I'm probably going to have to end up going back to my regular, at least, weapon setup here. Because, to me at least, these weapons seem to be more tailored towards PvP, or at least a different build than what I've got. You know, one with maybe some more armor, or more mobility, or more hit points. I'm not entirely sure. Either way, I'm not very good with them, or I just didn't practice with them. You can't see, that dagger does hit hard. I think it says it does 160% backstab damage, which is, I believe, the most powerful one in the game. So if you're going for a dexterity-based backstabbing build, that's going to be, you know, a really good weapon for you. It's just not great for killing bosses because you can't backstab them, but killing these little guys, yeah, of course. I mean, 746 damage we just saw there, regular hits for 131. It's a pretty good weapon when it's fully upgraded at +5. Plus, with the R2 attack, remember, the thrust does a poison-based damage attack as well. So here's the elevator that we unlocked in the previous video. This is going to take us right back down to where we just were, and straight ahead of us is going to be the next bonfire, which is the Chasm of the Abyss. The problem is that there's a series of pretty tough enemies. There's going to be 2 mages, something like 4 to 6 of the regular melee guys, and then after that is a big new tank type of enemy that's just a bitch. These guys are really tough because you've got to try and pull them out single file. You can hide behind the 2 pillars to the left and right, though, to avoid this magic damage. Because when you got 2 of those mages shooting at you, it's just a pain in the ass. That was a pretty terrible showing. I should have tried to use my bow and single pull some down. Yeah. Recall this is my first time through this content. Since I've made this, I've done a Sorcerer playthrough. I've also beat all this content with a heavy tank build using a big 2-handed weapon that I did significantly better on. I know that I'm going to be posting the Sorcerer playthrough. I don't know if I'm going to cover any content as the tank. You can see here, I just went full herp-tard retard mode, and Dark Souls. So we'll try this again using my bow. Remember, I've got the longbow +10, so it does pretty good damage because it scales as an S rating, which is the best rating, with dexterity, which I've got, I believe, a little over 40 right now. Or 30. Well, that kind of trivializes the content if you can range the mages like this before they can even get in range of you. You can even buy poison arrows, which I've actually never done, and I don't know why, because they're really, really good in PvP. I didn't capture any PvP yet with this character, but I was playing a game with my tank character with really heavy armor and a big great shield, and this guy invaded me, and he was using this tiny little bow. I don't even know what bow it was. It looked like a little miniature thing, and he was shooting poison arrows at me really quickly, and there was nothing I could do because I had this huge two-handed weapon. I couldn't even hit him with it, and he was just nuking me with these little poison arrows that were just ticking away at my health bar the whole time. What an asshole. I believe that's the only item that's left down here. The next room has a big, I don't even know how to explain the enemy, you'll see. A big tank type of thing. He's got 2 legs and a bunch of armor and a massive stick with a chain ball on it. It's pretty cool. You know, being that this character is dexterity based with this particular weapon in hand, you know, it's going to be based off of doing backstabs to get the majority of your damage. But I had a hard time figuring out what was the front and the back of this enemy, so I don't even know if you can backstab him. And you can see how hard he hits. It took off about half my health bar with that one swing, and I'm hitting him for 17, so it's just not going too well with this guy. I'm trying to use my R2 attack on him because that's going to deal the poison damage once I get enough ticks on it. But I just can't seem to get enough successful hits in a row, though. Chainmail, that's kind of clever considering it's covered in chains, I guess. You can also buy that chainmail, I believe, from the very first merchant that you run into in the Undead, not the Undead Parish. Whatever the first, I can't even remember the first zone of this game, it's been so long now. What I'm trying to do now is look for hidden doors, just because I'm not familiar with the territory, and it looks like one of these, you know, possibly could, though none of them do. And that should be the last enemy in our way to the next bonfire, which is now the Chasm of the Abyss, which is the final zone in the new content. There is one boss in this zone, and then there's going to be another boss, Black Dragon Calamite, which we saw earlier in one of the first videos in this playthrough, that we're eventually going to go back and take down. I happened to pick up some Twinkling Titanite, so I wanted to see if I could get that Golden Tracer upgraded a little bit, even though I'm not going to end up using it anyway. And I'm always, as usual, going to spend some humanities to kindle the bonfire so I can make sure I've got 10 flasks going into the new zone. So I don't know exactly why I didn't kindle that bonfire. I'm dicking around, trying to just remember what was going through my head. This was recorded about 2 weeks ago, and I'm just trying out these new weapons because I really want them to be useful because I'm sick of using the Quelaag's Fury Sword all the time. The Gold Tracer actually has a really cool moveset, but it's supposed to be used, remember, in the left hand because its strong attack then gives a toxic effect, but it only works when you do that in the left hand. Alright, now we're going to try and actually go and make some progress in here. At the bottom of the hill here are there's about 3 or 4 of the melee guys, and then 1 caster, and they're guarding another spell. I believe it's Dark Prism, Dark Beads, and that actually shoots a bunch of dark orbs kind of in a horizontal line arcing out away from you, which seems like it would actually be pretty good for PvP, as I imagine it's a little harder to dodge. And there we can see I backstabbed him for 413, whereas the Silver Tracer was going for about 713 or higher. There's no reason to use the Gold Tracer on the right hand. It's just not as good. Man, those spells hit so hard. I don't even know if they hit that hard when you normally shoot them as a sorcerer. But man, coming from the mages, they just fuck you up even through your shield. There should be a rock down there that I can actually hide behind to try to wait until he shoots his spell. If there's any extra melee guys down, you can hide behind this rock. It's right there in front of me to pull them out and then go in it and get your kill on the mage. Those are actually enemies down there, and I didn't realize that at the time. I thought it was just a background decoration. But yeah, it's a shitload of enemies. And they don't actively attack you. They deal damage as they move through you. So you kind of want to poke at them from a range, because if you get in close enough, like with this short little weapon I've got, they're just going to mess you up. They also have a really high chance to drop humanities and twin humanities. So if you're in the need to farm for them for whatever reason, this is a really good place to do it. And here you can see they're going to start to come up and swarm on me, and that's when they're really dangerous. You can take on 1 or 2 at a time, but any more than that and you're really risking to get fucked up fast. See, I was able to take him out with a little bit of a poke. You can see I just took a lot of damage just from him walking on top of me. Yep, just got super owned just by 1 or 2 of them there. I went ahead to cut the footage back, and you can see I re-equipped the Quelaag's Fury Sword, but instead of fighting those ghosts, I took a left and I fell right through the floor, and you can see that looks like a cat or a wolf, and it looks like it's the leader of the Forest Covenant. And she's actually showing you a way to a secret place where Sif, the Great Wolf boss, is hidden as just a puppy, and he's being held by these ghosts. Unfortunately, I don't find that out until my next playthrough, but if you sit tight for another few days, I will show it on my Sorcerer playthrough. Funny watching this, even with the Quelaag Fury Sword, and I only have 1 humanity. Recall that this weapon scales off of humanity and dexterity, so if I had 10 humanity, it would deal more damage. Not a lot more, but some. But as I went through here with my tank character, I was using, I had both a +15 Zweihander and a +13 Demon Machete, Great Demon Machete. It's the weapon that the Capra Demon uses. I randomly got that a while back because it scales with S with strength. Anyway, I'm able to just one-shot these guys with the power attack. Granted, the power attack takes what seems like an eternity. It's probably 1.5 or 2 seconds to actually swing. It's just funny seeing me have to hit these guys several times up at close range with this Fury Sword when there's much better weapon choices. It all depends on your playstyle. These guys can't be backstabbed, I believe, so it's just a little tougher for this character. It seems that all of the new content so far has been a lot tougher for this dexterity-based character. Maybe I'm not good with them. I don't know. I wanted to try something new, though. Anyway, right to my left right now, that wall is actually a hidden wall. If you swing your sword at it, it'll reveal a path that takes you back to the hidden Sif. This is a shortcut that takes us back up to kind of where all the other shortcuts in the game, or in this portion of content, have met up. It's right before Night Artorias. I don't really know what the point of that is, though. I don't know when you would ever even use that shortcut. Why not just teleport straight to the Chasm of the Abyss and walk, you know, the 30 seconds that it took me to get here? So, I don't know. Maybe you guys know what the point of that is for. I don't know. So you can see I've kind of gone in a circle now, and I'm now on the other side of all of those ghosts over there. The final boss is actually down the path by that glowing purple and white little stone over there. So it's a couple ways to get to there, I guess. The way that I went just right now, where I fell through the floor, is kind of the safer route. And then down here below is one more little area with a couple more of these ghosts, and it's guarding the new pyromancy spell, Dark Flame, I believe it's called. So that's Black Flame. Unfortunately, I don't have any Pyromancy characters, so I'm not ever able to test that spell out. I'm not even sure what it does, but I bet it's fucking awesome. So again, the path with these glowing little beads here is the way that leads down towards the final boss. And there's only a few encounters left before, I believe his name's Manus, Father of the Abyss. And it's a pretty tough fight for this dexterity character, just like every other damn boss so far. I breezed through it with my tank, and I breezed through it with my Sorcerer, but not this bitch. I feel like a spear or a polearm or a halberd or any of those really long weapons would be really good against these enemies. Then here's another white Titanite slab. The only other white Titanite slab I know about in the game is down right before fighting Gravelord Nito. So if you're looking to upgrade a weapon to plus 10 or 15 Divine, whichever that is, that's going to be a place that you can go to get the final component. Okay, and that's all of the enemies before the final boss, Manus, Father of the Abyss. Manus has a series of attacks that are mostly melee based that deal a lot of damage up front. If you have a lot of poise, however, you're able to withstand a lot of it. His most devastating is going to be about a 5-hit combo, and if he hits you at all in any of those 5 hits, you're automatically going to get hit by all the rest of the 5. So it's best to try to roll away from him if you can. He also does a series of dark orb or dark magic attacks at points throughout the fight, and again, you can use the pendant that I didn't find earlier, but I did discuss it. I don't ever use it on either of my playthroughs because I feel that I can just heal through the damage, but the dark magic damage is pretty significant as well. I also feel like this is one of the cooler, or probably the coolest looking boss in the game so far. Not so far, just all together. Heavy armor with a lot of poise makes this fight a lot easier because you can pretty much just stand right up next to him and never get knocked back at all. Of course, if you have spells, you know, shooting at him from range is really easy way to take him down as well, because lots of the time he's standing way across the screen just waiting for you. That was the 5-hit combo I was speaking of a little bit ago. You can see I only have 4 flasks yet, just dead, and I didn't even get a quarter of his health down. So I think I'm gonna get some jolly fucking cooperation now. Already you can see how it's going to be easier for a Sorcerer just because they can lob their powerful spells away from the back and they just hit so hard. So being that this guy's doing so much damage, I just want to make sure that I'm keeping my heal pots to keep him alive until he runs out of spells. I only got a few hits off this guy, and you can see already how much damage has been done. It's always good to bring in friends if you can. Granted, it's more rewarding to kill them yourself, but it's just as fun to kill it with friends too. And there we go. So that's the official final boss of the new content. He gives you the Soul of Manus only in 50 or 60,000 souls. And the Soul of Manus can actually be traded to the blacksmith in Anor Londo to create a new wand. And it can also be used to give to Snuggly, the crow, or the little bird that's outside the tutorial area. And he'll give you a new spell called... Fuck my ass, what's it called? Pursuers. Which is much like the Crystal Homing Mask or the Crystal Homing spells, where 3 or 4 dark orbs will hover above you and they'll chase towards the enemy to deal dark magic, but they chase really slowly, so they're really good in PvP because they're a lot harder to avoid. The white person just on the floor there was actually Dusk of Oolacile, and if you remember at the beginning of this tutorial series, or this walkthrough series, I talked to Elizabeth the Mushroom, and she sent me out here to save the Dusk of Oolacile again. However, it bugged out for some reason, and I talked to her, and for whatever reason, she just never recognized that happened. On later playthroughs, I found out that sometimes it does in fact work. If you go back to Elizabeth, she'll give you 3 of Elizabeth's mushrooms, which are the mushrooms that can be used to heal yourself in PvP.
Thank goodness thou art safe. What is thy wish? I offer thee my...
So this was one of the more lengthy videos in the series, I suppose, but there's only one more to go, so stay tuned tomorrow where I'll take you to speak to the giant who's going to help us kill the Black Dragon Calamite, and then I'll move on to shortly thereafter my Sorcerer playthrough. See you then.